Hello everyone, Crash here. This is RTA Motorsports, and today is going to be a fun episode. DX11 in iRacing, and so they released the test servers. We're going to see how it works, if there's any differences at all, or if you could even notice any differences at all, both frame rates and visuals. Stay tuned.
Welcome to RTA Motorsports.
Alright, so DX11 has finally made it to iRacing. I cannot believe it. They have been running DX9 since way before I even joined iRacing. And so right now we're going to jump in. We're going to basically see how it works with the Nürburgring, specifically the tourist layout, because I've noticed a lot of instability with my system. You can see here is we are running in the Inmax Ostrog case, but you know, the system itself, what really matters, right through there you can see the Lipa Aquachanger 240 cooling down the AMD 8350. This is pretty much an AMD system. And as we go on down, you can see the Sapphire R9 290X Tri-X 8GB. Now, I have always realized that my system here is pretty much you know, a good budget enthusiast system. I never thought for any moment that I would have any sort of frame rate issues or any sort of lag or frame drops in iRacing. Now, when the Nürburgring was released, that issue basically came to realization when I was in the pits, when I was around the grandstands, when I was around the crowds. And so I was having to basically lower my frame, or well, lower the eye candy. A reason that I bought this graphics card so I wouldn't actually have to do that. A title like iRacing, one that is not known for being graphically polarizing, was actually causing a lot of frame drops, a lot of stuttering, just a lot of difficulties in certain areas of the Nürburgring. So that was a little upsetting, because both the Assetto Corsa and soon to be Race Room have many tracks. Assetto Corsa has the Nürburgring, Race Room has it coming, but I've never had graphical issues in those games. I've run them completely maxed out, and they're able to push my very large resolution without any issues. What are we running? We're running 6048 by 1080 across 3 monitors. They're only 60 Hertz monitors, but it's a very large resolution, so I love it. I love the eye candy, and you know, this graphics card seems to push it all the time, buttery smooth. So I never had an issue. What we're going to do is we're going to jump in. We're going to basically take a car around in DX9. We're going to look at some of the issues that we were having. Then we're going to go and jump in around DX11 and actually see if there's any sort of differences whatsoever. See if it has been optimized at all to actually run the newer platforms, the newer graphics cards. So I hope you have fun. This should be an interesting little test. It is just a test server, so I'm sure there's going to be further optimizations down the road. We're going to be running the normal stuff that we run in the background. So we're going to be running simvibe, we're going to be running Dash Meter Pro, we're going to be running OBS, and we're going to be recording with OBS at the same time. So there's going to be other things in the background going on as well, taxing that CPU. So enjoy. This should be pretty cool, and here we go. So now we're inside the rig, and we're going to just jump around, like I said, the Nürburgring, the tourist circuit, but I'm just going to take you through a quick tour of the rig itself so you can see basically what I'm using, and maybe you can compare it to what you're using in your experiences. You can see in this view here we have the TH8A shifter. I do have an aftermarket shifter knob on here. This knob here I just picked up from AutoZone, very cheap. But we have it in sequential mode because we're going to be driving the Chevy Corvette C7 Daytona prototype, which is a sequential shift car. You can see we have the button box up here. This is a Sim Garage button box. It is the slant edition. I do have a video on my channel. If you're looking for a good budget button box, definitely check this one out. I definitely love that for iRacing. And we're not going to be using this here much, but this is my DIY e-brake. I do have 2 gas shocks on there to kind of give it some resistance. We have Dash Meter Pro going, like I said that we would be. I do have the tablet running here, my 599 XX EVO wheel. This wheel does not come off my rig. I absolutely love this. Thrustmaster TX base and the T3PA Pro pedals. Well, they're like the T3PA Pro pedals. These are the T500 pedals, but it does have a brake mod that is also on my channel if you want to check that out. But we're pretty much going to just sit here in this view here so you can see everything that's going on all at once. And we're just going to jump right in, both DX9 and DX11, see how it works. First, we're going to start off with DX9. So we are going to go down to settings, and everything is off. That is good. Now, I did, we're going to just go with afternoon because the colors look a little bit more neutral, and a little bit better, maybe easier to see on mobile devices. But I did already do the video output settings. Now, here's the one thing that we're going to start with, and we are going to start with how long it takes to load. Alright everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that video and I hope it gave you some good information as to where iRacing is going with this DX11 switchover that they're making right now. So you can see in DX9 when I'm racing with the Corvette Daytona prototype that there's a lot of lagging and stuttering in the video, but it's the whole video. Now, one thing to keep in mind, that is kind of a worst case scenario. I had every option checked. On top of that, I was running OBS, which is very CPU intensive, very taxing on the CPU, and I was recording at not only 720p or anything like that, I was recording at 1080p, but I also had all of the buffers all the way up. I was basically recording at full resolution at the same time as I was playing the game, and I had other things running in the background to kind of create a worst case scenario and really stress out the system. Normally, my frame rates are well above what was shown in this video, but I really just wanted to show worst case scenario because some people do stream and do record at the same time. So you can see with DX9, whenever there was any sort of freezing or any sort of lagging in the video, that is actually what was displayed to me in the game itself. As I was watching the game would freeze, and at one point when I was going through the S-turns on the Nürburgring, right at the beginning of the track, you could see that there's few pauses and a few moments of lagging and frame stuttering through the whole video, but then you see me shaking my head in kind of disgust, and it's because that was actually what I was seeing through the game itself. So it made it very hard to race because at moments there would be maybe about a second or two of just complete stutter and lagging, and then I would just end up in the middle of the turn. So it was a little bit rough to do, but I think it clearly showed the issues that we were having with DX9, especially with some tracks like the Nürburgring or other tracks when you have a lot of cars on the track at the same time. Now with DX11, you did notice that the frames were a little bit better. At times they were very close to being similar, or also at times they were about 20-30 frames above. But there was a lot less, or if any, stuttering. I don't even remember there being any sort of stuttering or any sort of frame lag issue. It was really apparent when I had everything off and I wasn't recording that the frame rates were just well above what I ever received with DX9. So take it for what it is. I'm happy they're moving to DX11, and that a lot of the frame stuttering issues and a lot of issues that were starting to become apparent with tracks like the Nürburgring are going to start going away, and our systems are going to start to be utilized a little bit more optimally, especially with the new rollouts of content. Alright, so this is Crash and this is RTA Motorsports. I hope you all found this video very informative and helpful. Definitely subscribe and like, helps us out greatly, and stay tuned for the next video that should be coming soon, but also see you all out on the track.